We welcome you to the New Palestine softball field in beautiful New Palestine, Indiana on this Thursday night for another edition of High School Softball on 9-Star TV. And tonight, the Pendleton Heights Arabians come to town with a record of 17-3 as they get set to battle the 15-3-1 New Palestine Dragons. Along with Jim Leisure, I'm John Herrick. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. And Jim, obviously still quite a bit of softball left in the regular season, but these are two Heritage Hoosier Conference foes, and conference positioning is on the line. Certainly you want to be playing well at the right time with sectional play coming up right around the corner.
Well, again, unfortunately, neither team has had the luxury necessarily of spreading the conference schedule out like you normally would. This has been a horrible spring, as everyone is aware. And so, what we have here are Pendleton faced with 3 conference games this week. They played Mount Vernon on Monday, Greenfield on Tuesday, and then 2 days later, the New Palestine Dragons. So, tough week so far, successful for Pendleton. I'm sure Coach Ed Markin's team would like to put a halt to that little conference winning streak.
You're looking there at Eliza Holmen, the starting pitcher tonight for the New Palestine Dragons. She has a record of 8-0, 2.43 ERA as well. So she's been solid, and we'll see, of course, Eliza Finley again in the circle on the opposite side for Pendleton Heights, who was the starting pitcher in the win on Tuesday night for them. Now, right away, we have an appeal down to first base, and the umpire says that Kaya Hubble, the leadoff batter for Pendleton Heights, did not go. She's batting .481 this season, and she has had simply a terrific week as that one is flied up in the air and foul out of play.
Well, John, Hubble's one of those hitters, one of those slap hitters, good leadoff hitter, good speed. Now, what she's trying to do, as you saw in the replay there, that she's just going to try to slap it into left field, so the left fielder is going to play in a little bit. The entire outfield is shifted that direction.
This week in the 2 games for Pendleton Heights, Hubble is 4 for 7 with 3 runs scored. She's also driven in a run. Sends this one up in the air. And playable at short. Easy play for Allie Blum. The starting defense for New Palestine, it's Maddie Engel in left field. Sydney Oliver's in center. Grace Paquette is in right. Paige Ernstis is on the hot corner at third. Allie Blum's at short. Elena Miller at second. Delaney Barton's at first. Aglaya Rudd is the catcher, and Eliza Holmen is the pitcher. One more look at that pop-up to the shortstop, Allie Blum. Now it is Haley Brunnemer up at the plate for the Arabians, taking high for ball 1. Brunnemer's been a huge threat at the plate this year. 6 home runs, .448 batting average. And also, this week alone, she has been simply sensational. 6 for 8 for 4 runs batted in and 3 runs scored as she powers this one down the left field line, but it's well foul to even the count up at 1 ball, 1 strike.
Well, Holman's able to change speeds just enough there to get Brunnemer off basically the timing, the balance of the thing way out in front of the pitch. And although she got a huge piece of it, barreled it up quite nicely, way, way foul.
1-1 offering. Slapped foul. Looked like it might tail fair, but went just to the left of that line. And also a bit of history on the line here, too, for Pendleton Heights. They have not beaten New Palestine since 2015.
Well, the world's changed quite a bit.
It has.
7 years.
It has. Pendleton Heights, of course, right there in the mix as that one just misses for ball 2. 2-2 the count.
Well, I got to believe if you're Coach Rob Davis from Pendleton Heights, this is the year you've been building for. He's had, I think, 5 seniors in the lineup, 7 on the roster. And this is, again, I'm sure a few years back they were awfully young. Now they're not.
That one might be playable for Delaney Barton. And I think she had to use part of the fence to make the catch, so the umpire waves it off and says it is foul.
Yeah, one of those deals that from the angle that we're at, John, hopefully we'll get a better angle on the replay here. She needs to run over and find the fence first. Get to the fence, find the fence, and then and the ball never even was caught. So,
well, she played it off the bounce well.
Yeah.
And the 2-2. Brunnemer just continues to fight off Eliza Holmen here. So after Brunnemer, it's Caroline DeRolf, followed by Kylie Ryan in the cleanup spot. Then Chloe Gregory at 5th. 6th is Bo Shelton. Caitlyn Goodwin bats 7th. Brent Libler is 8th. Lily Koffel is 9th. And Eliza Finley, the starting pitcher for Pendleton Heights. Good at bat here being put together by Brunnemer. She has helped run the count full at 3-2.
And a nice job, too, by Alexa Holmen, just, again, changing speeds and locations enough that Brunnemer, other than that first pitch that she drove way foul, has not been able to really square one up.
But she's able to draw a walk, so well done by her. Battling back down from 1-2 and able to get on base. And that's not something Alexa Holmen has done a lot. That's just her 13th walk of the season given up. And it brings up Caroline DeRolf here in the top of the first inning, already 1 down. No score between Pendleton Heights and New Palestine. DeRolf this week powers this one down the left field line. It is in fair territory, caught by Engel. And that makes Caroline DeRolf this week now 2 for 6. And that brings up Kylie Ryan, who had a grand slam earlier this week. And she is 4 for 6. She's also homered twice, once on Monday, once on Tuesday, and wins over Mount Vernon and Greenfield Central. The pitch makes it ball 1. She's batting .394, has 7 home runs, 24 driven in. 5 runs batted in this week alone. And she is headed to Butler University. The 1-0. In there for a strike.
Well, to put it simply, John, she's seeing the ball real well this week and making good contact, and I'm sure that Alexa Holmen and Coach Markham are aware of that, and they don't want to give her really anything over the middle of the plate.
And, well, Holmen didn't do that. Instead, she ends up hitting her. So now you got runners on first and second. So Pendleton Heights, this is what they do. I mean, when you're 17-3, you can find ways to get on base, and without getting a hit, sometimes you're creative. And that's exactly what happens here. Got a runner coming on first to a courtesy run for Kylie Ryan.
Running at first base, number 6, Gloria Richardson.
That is Gloria Richardson, who steps over to first base. She is a junior.
Number 5.
And that brings up Chloe Gregory, who has homered 6 times this year, a .410 batting average. And this week alone, she's 4 for 6 with 4 runs scored, 4 RBI. She's also drawn a walk. That went a little bit high for the umpire's liking, making it ball 1.
That pitch didn't miss by much, and again, what she's trying to do is just hit all sides of the zone without, giving a mistake, something over the middle of the plate, belt high. She's actually doing a pretty good job.
That time the umpire agreed with it, making the count 1-1.
So it's just normal for a pitcher and a catcher to kind of figure out the zone and what an umpire is going to call and where. So that's what Alexa Holmen's kind of working through right now.
Blasts that one down the line, but pulls it foul. So, as you can tell from the screen, sunny, beautiful afternoon on this Thursday. 86 degrees, a little bit of a light wind. I feel like we had a very brief spring. We just kind of went from winter almost straight into summer.
I would agree with you. We didn't really have much of a spring.
The 1-2, got her swinging, so an early jam for Alexa Holmen. She's able to get out of it, though. No runs, no hits, no errors, but 2 runners left on board for the Pendleton Heights Arabians. We go to the bottom of the first, and let's give you the Pendleton Heights starting lineup. They are coached, by the way, by Ed Markham. The head coach for Pendleton Heights is Rob Davis. And Pendleton leading off with Elena Miller. She is a senior. She'll be playing second base. Allie Blum is a sophomore shortstop. Aglaya Rudd, junior catcher. Then fourth is Paige Ernstis, sophomore third baseman. Fifth is Katie Hershey, a freshman designated player. Grace Paquette, senior right fielder, bats 6th. Maddie Engel, freshman left fielder, bats 7th. Delaney Barton, senior first baseman, bats 8th. Sydney Oliver, sophomore center fielder, hits 9th. And Alexa Holmen is the pitcher, who is also the flex player, won't be batting. So there is a look at Eliza Finley. She was the winning pitcher on both Monday and Tuesday night, which coincidentally for New Palestine, or for Pendleton Heights, were run rule wins both times.
No, Finley doesn't throw particularly hard. I mean, she throws hard enough. She's certainly an above-average varsity pitcher, but not overwhelming. Doesn't get a ton of strikeouts. I think she had 5 or 6 the other night against Greenfield.
She had 5, yep.
Yeah, and you know what she does, John, is she has late movement on her pitches, and it makes it hard to make good, solid contact. We saw her earlier in the year, and honestly, I don't remember. I think it was the Connorsville game Greg Rakestraw and I did, where they had 7 pop-ups on the infield. Just easy plays where the pitch kind of looked like a good pitch, and by the time it got to the plate, it had moved in on the hands, and the hitters were just able to kind of basically defend themselves, and the balls just stayed on the infield. Easy plays all around. So obviously, if you're Eliza Finley, that's what you're hoping to do here. And obviously, if you're New Palestine, you're hoping to barrel some balls up, hit them hard.
She has earned a 2.42 ERA this season, a record of 12-2 in 16 appearances. It's basically been her, and the other player that's gotten the majority of the pitching is Shelby Messer. It's been those 2 girls primarily for the Arabians, but mostly Finley. So Elena Miller steps up to the batter's box, has had a solid season, hitting .365. She was 3 for 4 this week against Connorsville, 1 for 3 against Fishers, making her 4 for 7, 5 runs scored, and 3 runs batted in this week alone. The pitch. Strike 1 called. Some New Palestine fans did not agree with it.
Well, and again, it might have been a strike, and it might have just been slightly off the plate. That the reason I think they probably had a little disagreement is because, you know, they weren't getting any of those close calls on the other side.
The 0-1. And she's quickly behind 0-2.
Well, again, you hear me say it all the time, John, when you're down 0-2 or 1-2 as a hitter, you got to kind of concede a little bit. You don't have to give in, but you're going to have to change a little bit of your approach. Maybe split the hands a little bit, which it looks like maybe she has, just a shade to get better back control.
Slaps that one past the third baseman, Brent Libler, into left for a base knock. And Libler, you might remember if you follow us on 9-Star or watch Pendleton Heights games, Libler had an outstanding defensive play to start the game on Tuesday against Greenfield Central, but she could not catch up to that one. But that was just a nice piece of hitting there for Elena Miller.
Yeah, again, I'm not sure you can do it better as a leadoff hitter. You get yourself down 0-2, but you change a little bit of your approach, and you just slap one through the infield.
Now you got Allie Blum coming up. That pitch rolls its way, and Ryan has to stop it. Kylie Ryan, the catcher. Caitlyn Goodwin on first base. Bo Shelton is at second. Chloe Gregory playing defense at shortstop. Brent Libler's in third. Kaya Hubble, your left fielder. Haley Brennemer is in center. Caroline DeRolf is in right. That is the Pendleton Heights defense. We are scoreless so far. The 1-0 right down the heart of the plate to even the count up at 1-1.
You know, John, neither one of these teams really run a lot. I think New Palestine has 27 stolen bases, and Pendleton has 17, so don't expect a lot of movement on the base paths.
Misses down low to make it 2-1. Allie Blum this week, 3 for 7, 3 runs scored. She's also driven in a run as well. Slaps that one foul. That evens the count up. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Nobody out. Bottom of the first of a scoreless ball game between Pendleton Heights and New Palestine.
Coach Markham with no signals to the base runner at first, Miller. So, again, don't expect her to go.
Maybe the only time you might see him go is if they've got nothing to lose or if a team's got a cushion. And that one bounces down for a base hit, but it works out well for Pendleton Heights.
Yeah, tough play. I
yep.
mean, she's got to hold up because it looked like the center fielder, Brunnerman, may have had a shot to come in and make the diving catch. So she's got to hold up a little bit. I guess she could have gone a little bit further than maybe halfway, because if Brunnever does come up and dive and catch that, then you've got time to get back because she'll have to stand up and right herself.
Well, that's the very seldom seen 8-4 fielder's choice. So now there's one out, and that brings up Aglaya Rudd. Yeah, there's not much you can do there. You go too far and she catches it. You could get doubled off at first. So not much that Elena Miller could have done there.
It was tough.
And that one bounced through, though, for Aglaya Rudd. That puts runners on first and second. With one out of a scoreless ball game so far between New Palestine and Pendleton Heights.
Getting back to the base runner there from first to second, I guess the only thing I'm saying is, as a coach, I would write a little note on my card and just say, hey, remember that happened? Ladies, here's something you got to think about. If Brunimer does come up and make a diving catch, then you've got time to get back. She's got to get off the ground, right herself, and throw a strike to first, which is a long way from center. So let's go ahead and get a little more than halfway, so when the ball does drop, we don't get thrown out at second.
Brings up Paige Ernstis with a batting average of .444 this season. And she's had an outstanding week, quite frankly. 6 of 7 against Fishers and Connorsville. 4 runs batted in and 2 runs scored.
That coach is going to have
might be bringing somebody in to run at second base.
Courtesy runner for the catcher there. And, sometimes coaches, you see most of the time they're going to courtesy run for the catcher or the pitcher, but not always. You'll see some coaches will say, you know what, my pitcher and my catcher, are 2 of my best athletes, and I wouldn't mind seeing them on the base path. So, but coaches decided to make the change.
Grace Smith is the one that comes off the New Palestine bench to run at first for Aglaya Rudd. So runners at first and second for New Palestine, bottom of the first of a scoreless game. Paige Ernstis tries to change that. And runner takes off and goes to third. The throw to second is a bad one, and that allows the New Palestine Dragons to take the lead early on, 1-0.
Well, there's an old saying in baseball and softball, John, and that's don't throw behind runners. And that's what the catcher, the senior Kylie Ryan, decides to throw behind the runner, and she just says, you're kidding me, right? I'm just going to take third. And then when the throw goes in center field, it's just like stealing money.
So that goes down as an E2 in the scorebook, and it puts New Palestine on the board with a 1-0 lead. And that moves Smith to second. That one hammered into left but foul by Ernstis, and the count is 2-1.
Yeah, obviously a physical error, John, by throwing the ball in the center field, but to me more of a mental error. I really don't know what you think as a senior catcher. You ought to know better. Throwing behind a runner, she's just going to go, all right, the second you let go of it, they're only 60-foot base paths, I'm going to take third.
The 2-1. Ripped again, but foul. One thing you got to be a little bit concerned about if you are Pendleton Heights, these New Pal hitters seem to be out in front of a lot of what Eliza Finley's throwing at them so far.
Well, again, she just does such a good job of changing speeds and late movement, so.
It's a Pendleton Heights team that averages close to 9 runs per ball game. And New Palestine averages close to 10 runs a game scored. Now the count is full. 3-2 to Paige Ernstis with 1 out. And the courtesy runner, Grace Smith, on second base. New Palestine's already taken a 1-0 lead. The pitch. Ball 4. So Ernstis on first, Smith on second. And with 1 out, 2 runners aboard now for the Dragons. They already lead 1-0. Katie Hershey, freshman designated player, is next. She's hitting .380 on the season.
She's had 3 big flies so far this year, John, and Coach Markham would love to see her get another one.
That's ball 1.
Coach Davis is going to take a timeout and go out and just kind of refocus his pitcher, Eliza Finley.
Interesting things about Hershey. She was outstanding in the win for New Palestine over Connorsville on Tuesday night. 3 for 5 with 2 runs batted in. She also drove in 3 against Fishers. There's Coach Rob Davis talking to his entire infield in the circle. So that puts Hershey this week 4 for 6 with a run scored and also 5 runs batted in. There's Coach Ed Markham for New Palestine. Loving the way this bottom of the first inning has gone so far. The count is 1-0 to Katie Hershey, and the lead is 1-0 for New Palestine. I can't remember the last time. We've done a lot of Pendleton Heights games this year, Jim, for 9-star, and I can't remember the last time Rob Davis has had to have a conversation like that this early in the game.
Certainly not this
Yeah,
early, and
not
I
this
don't
early.
remember much of him coming out at all, frankly. But this could be a big inning. 1 out, first and second.
That one skips away. Ryan does a good job stopping it. If she doesn't stop that, the runners move up a base.
She's done a decent job with the balls in the dirt so far, but again, not surprised. She's a college level catcher.
The 2-0 fouls that one off. In the on-deck circle, it's Grace Paquette.
There's a good example, John, of Finley just kind of late movement because it's 2-0. Hitters looking for the ball in a certain zone where they can drive it. She gets what she thinks is a good pitch, and then at the last second it breaks in on her hands, and she's able to just foul it off.
That one smashed up the middle, base hit, and bobbled by Brunnemer. She gets it back. Runners are able to hold up, throw back to third. Smith gets back in time. Bases are loaded with 1 out. Third hit of the game already for New Palestine.
Yeah, so Hershey with the big hit there, and again, Brunnemer in center field, you see on the replay, just bobbles it here a little bit. A lot of times third base coaches will come down the line almost to home plate, and they're just watching to see whether or not the ball is fielded cleanly. If it's not, they just turn the runner. Unfortunately, New Pal missed out on an opportunity there to pick up a run.
Now, Paquette was 2 for 4 against Connorsville. This week, she's 2 for 7. She takes a strike there. Paquette batting .308 on the season. She's also got 2 home runs, 4 doubles. She gets 1 to bounce in the outfield. She's scoring at least 1 here.
Pendleton Heights infield playing in.
Good pitch by Finley, one she needed. Makes it 0-2. New Palestine 1 and Pendleton Heights nothing with 1 out in the bottom of the first inning.
Again, anything. Shortstop's backing up now. Second baseman backing up too as well.
Good stop again by Ryan. Finley trying to get Paquette to chase one. She did not fall for it.
So based on the positioning of the middle infielders, it looks as if Pendleton Heights is going to concede a run on a ground ball.
Fouled off, which I think means that a strikeout here by Finley would be extra crucial.
So Paquette here is just, again, same deal. 2 strikes, you're down. You gotta concede a little bit. Not a lot. You don't have to give up your at bat, but
that one hit into left and scrolling through. That's 1 run in. That's all that gets in. But that's still an RBI single for Grace Paquette. Scores Aglaya Rudd's courtesy runner, Grace Smith, and gives Paquette an RBI.
no, nice job again. Get down 0-2, or I think it was 0-2, and then they threw a waste pitch for 1-2. And Paquette just battled through the at-bat and was able to drive something through. Again, Coach Markham down the line a little bit. Watched the left fielder in Hubble come up with the ball cleanly. Coach Davis out to talk to the home plate umpire. I'm not sure about what.
Whatever it is, it's a brief conversation, and it ends there. Maddie Engel is up next. And for Paquette, she just got her 12th run batted in of the season. So Ernstis goes to third, Hershey to second. Paquette is on first with 1 out. The lead now 2-0 New Palestine. And Engel takes ball 1. Maddie Engel against Connorsville was 1 for 3 with a run scored and an RBI. Then she was 1 for 2 against Fishers, making her 2 for 5 on the week.
Well, if you're a New Palestine runner, bases loaded, 1 out, got to move on anything on the ground. Freezing on a line drive. Don't go anywhere. Don't take a step. Freeze on a line drive. Make it go through. Make it get down. And we're tagging at third base on flies to the outfield. Everyone else is kind of watching the fielder.
She goes with something off speed and hits. 1-2. So Miller singled, got thrown out at second. Blum grounds into the fielder's choice, scores on an error. Rudd singles, Ernstis walks, then back-to-back singles by Hershey and Paquette have put us where we are now. The 1-2, hit over towards second, flips to second base, and the ball's dropped. E6, an error on Chloe Gregory, could not handle it. That could have been possibly a double play or at least out number 2. Instead, it is an error. And that scores Ernstis to make it 3-0 New Palestine.
Well, a huge break for the Dragons here, and again, you just can't make errors in big ball games. I mean, if you're Pendleton, you have to believe that this is your best opportunity to win a conference championship. You got to win now, and right now they're just playing a little tight.
Strike issued to Delaney Barton. Barton, a senior, hitting .211 this year. She only had one at bat against Fishers and was 1 for 4 in the win over Connorsville, making her 1 for 5 on the week with an RBI. Has a chance to get at least another RBI here. That one popped up, so fans going to have a chance to grab that. 0-2 the count, 1 down, bottom of the first. 3-0 the lead for New Palestine.
You know, John, for me anyway, I don't feel like this inning has gotten out of hand yet. I know they've given up 3 runs, but a big base hit here could really change things.
Barton wisely stays away. A lot of experience up and down the lineup. Both of these teams full of juniors and seniors. Only one freshman in the starting lineup for New Palestine. That is Katie Hershey, who is on third base right now. That one chopped, grabbed, tagging up is Libler, but they say nope, it's a foul ball. So Libler did the right thing, played through. She's like, hey, I'm playing like it's fair until he tells me it's foul, so it is foul. Runners go back.
Yeah, and again, we generally have an opportunity in each broadcast just to kind of watch this. It's where the ball is when it's first touched. And in the umpire, she's in fair territory. I get her feet are. But the ball's clearly foul. Good call.
Fouled off again. As Delaney Barton putting together a solid at-bat here for the Dragons.
If you're a hitter, you want to make them work. You want to make those pitchers work. You know, pitch counts aren't quite as important in softball as they are in baseball. But still, you can make a kid work, and the more you make them work, the more tired they are later in the game.
And here's the other thing, too. She only has 1 run batted in this season. That was against Connorsville. Can she get another one here? Certainly doing a good job pestering Eliza Finley.
Well, both times that they've kind of tried to get those chase pitches, Ryan and Finley, I mean, Ryan's lined up all the way in the left-handed batter's box. I mean, again, you'd have to just be really fooled.
She rips that into left. That gets down. 1 run in for sure. Up with the throw. A good one from Hubble. She got it in quickly, but not before a run comes across and an RBI single. Makes it 4-0. New Palestine still just 1 away in the bottom of the first inning. And Kylie Ryan was waiting, and her coach Rob Davis was saying, hey, come on in. And Eliza Finley is coming out of the game.
Wow.
She has only lasted a third of an inning, and she is responsible for all the runners on base right now, and the bases are loaded.
Wow. John, I got to be honest with you. I mean, we've seen, this is our at least 4th Pendleton Heights game this year. We've seen Finley each time throw particularly well, but she really, really struggled here. And Coach Davis has just simply seen enough.
Be a big one, too, for New Palestine. They're 2-2 in the Hoosier Heritage Conference. And Pendleton Heights is 3-1. So you win here, you pull even with them. And the new pitcher is Shelby Messer. So like I said at the top of the broadcast, it's been Finley and Messer, the 2 primary pitchers for Pendleton Heights. And he is going with Messer right now. A lot earlier than he would have liked to. Messer, a 5-1 record, 2.54 ERA. She has given up 4 home runs, 17 strikeouts, 12 walks, and 41 1/3 innings pitched. And it moves up to Sydney Oliver, the 9-hole hitter. We have seen the entire lineup for Pendleton, for New Palestine against Pendleton Heights here in the bottom of the first. And Oliver is batting .350 on the year. She has 4 runs batted in, 14 hits. And she's having a good week. 3 for 6 with 4 runs scored. Pops this up. And that goes foul back towards the net. So can Shelby Messer have better luck than Eliza Finley? Again, we're still at just 1 out, bottom of the first. All New Palestine. They lead it 4-0. That one missing outside to even the count up at a ball and a strike.
Well, John, obviously this has been a very unattractive inning for Pendleton Heights here. If New Palestine gets a base hit, it will officially be ugly.
It's a tough place to play. We've seen a lot of good teams come into this venue and struggle. I know you and I were here last year when Ron Colley, the eventual state champion, would go on to win the 4A crown, but they lost to New Palestine here. Now they eventually got revenge and beat them in sectional, but
yeah, because honestly, John, they played poorly. They had 4 errors,
Yep.
and they lost 4-0. I can't remember if all 4 errors led to runs, but can't do that against good teams.
That one slapped over, bobbled again, but I think she got her. Yep, but that is an RBI for Sydney Oliver. So that's a 6-4 fielder's choice that she grounds into, gets the RBI, scores Paquette from third, and that makes it now 5-0. Dragons.
Elena Miller.
We go back to the top of the order with Elena Miller, who started off the game with a single. So we have now batted around, second time through the order for New Palestine, and we're not even in the second inning yet.
Miller, 365, only 11 runs batted in. Of course, normally probably doesn't bat with the bases loaded often.
She sends this one into center. Brunimer going back, makes the catch, and the inning is finally over. But 5 runs, 4 hits, 2 errors, 3 left on for New Palestine, but they lead it 5-0 over Pendleton Heights after 1 on 9-Star TV. Score 5 runs on 4 hits. RBIs from Grace Paquette, Delaney Barton, and Sydney Oliver. And now Pendleton Heights with some work to do. They also had to make a pitching change. Bo Shelton is in, batting 6, 7, and 8. That's who we're going to see in this order for Pendleton Heights.
Well, again, John, credit New Palestine for getting the base hits when they needed them, as there's one for Pendleton Heights.
The left side of the field seems to be popular today, doesn't it?
You would think there was a gale force wind going that direction. There's not, but yeah, I mean, it doesn't help though when Pendleton, walks people and gets errors, and I mean, it's a recipe for disaster.
It's not that Pendleton Heights didn't get runners on. They did in the first inning. They just did it without getting a hit, so that was the first hit of the game. Caitlyn Goodwin comes up to bat. She was 1 for 2 against Greenfield Central, and then 2 for 4 with 2 runs scored. She also had 5 driven in total for this week. She had a solid game in the outing before against Mount Vernon. She's batting .373. She's homered 4 times. And she's ahead in the count, 1-0. Maddie Engel calls for it, underneath it, out 1. In the top of 2. Brent Libler is next. Senior third baseman hitting .294 with 11 runs batted in.
Number 3, Brent Libler.
Libler now 2 for 6 this week. The pitch. I think she might have thought it was too far inside, but nonetheless, strike call.
Well, she crowds the plate a little bit, John. She's right on the white line, literally with her toes on the white line, and it looked like a good pitch to me.
Big rip, and that gets through. Miller was shading to the right, to her right. The ball gets hit to her left. Couldn't quite get back there in time. That's a base hit that moves Shelton to second. Libler on base now to make it runners on first and second with 1 out here in the top of the second. Lily Koffel is next.
Coach Markham defensively was trying to play for 2 in the middle there. You have your kids play over a step or 2 toward the second base bag, and unfortunately for them, she hit it right where the second baseman vacated.
Good bunt try laid down, and Holmen had no play. So that's an infield single. Bases loaded. Shelton to third, Libler to second, Koffel to first. We just had bases loaded for New Palestine in the last inning several times. Now we got them here for the first time for Pendleton Heights.
Well, New Palestine decided to rotate the defense towards second base and then have the first baseman go back. I don't know who would have covered first if she'd have fielded the ball. Maybe the pitcher, I don't know. But she couldn't have rolled it in a better spot.
She rips this one up, does Kaya Hubble. Back to the top of the Pendleton Heights order we go. That foul off, making it 0-1.
You know, again, John, it seems like every broadcast we talk about production in the lower part of your lineup. And 6, 7, 8, and 9.
That one could be a bloop single, and it is. Fielded off the bounce by Oliver. Throw to third. 1 run is in, and Pendleton Heights is on the board. RBI single for Kaya Hubble. Scores Bo Shelton.
Center fielder, number 21, Haley Brunner.
4 hits in this inning for Pendleton Heights. Pulls them within 4 at 5-1. Libler goes to third, Koffel to second. And Hubble's now on first for Haley Brunner, who walked her first time up. Takes high for ball 1.
Just 2 good teams, John. Again, a lot of teams give up 5 runs in the first half inning there and can't come out and respond.
That one chopped foul, making it 1-1.
You know, and obviously this inning with 1 out, it's still got a long way to go, but already kind of credit the Pendleton Heights Arabians, Coach Davis' squad, for battling him back. I mean, a couple base hits or a long fly, and this game's tied.
Holmen's 1-1. Jammed her, caught, throwed it. Miller thought she might have a play at first, but wisely held on to it. 2 down.
Just a great pitch. Again, we talk all the time about late movement on the pitch.
Right fielder, number 8.
Pitches on, you know, looks like it's down the middle of the plate, and it kind of gets in on the hands of the hitter, and not much you can do with it.
2 down for Caroline DeRolf. Now, she hit it hard into left field, but it was caught by Engel. Did get a good piece of it. See if she can build on that this time. DeRolf is 2 for 6 this week. She's drawn a walk, too. She does have a run batted in. And she is hitting .550 on the year. The 1-0. A little behind it. Evens the count up. That is Brent Libler on third. Good mix of red and green in the crowd tonight. A lot of folks from Pendleton made the trip over, not too far away. Good eye again by DeRolf.
Well, again, John, as you can see, you know, from the camera angles, artificial turf, fantastic facility. This would be a great place to not only host sectionals, regionals, and possibly semi-states, but maybe even an occasional college tournament.
Got fooled on that. I think as soon as DeRolf swung, she immediately regretted it. That puts Deuces Wild on the scoreboard. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs in the top of the second inning. 5-1 the lead for New Palestine. Stays alive and fouls that one off.
Classic battle here between pitcher and hitter, you know, and again, that's the game within the game. Obviously, it's a team game, but it's also very much an individual game right now. It's just simply Holmen and DeRolf.
That might stay in. Yep, it's playable for Paige Ernstis, and she's able to make the catch. and in the top of the second. 1 run, 4 hits, no errors, 3 runners left on base. Pendleton Heights, though, does get on the board, and they trail 5-1 against New Palestine. One more look at the nice play by Ernstis.
Wind played a little bit of trick with it there. Again, we got just a slight crosswind from right to left, and you saw her have to move to her right late.
Well, it's interesting, too, even though we don't have much wind, it kind of just picks up from time to time. Here's a look at the sectional that New Palestine is in. They open up against Southport. Perry Meridian awaits the winner of that game. And then on the opposite side of the bracket, it's Warren Central and Ron Colley. So Franklin Central gets the winner there. So Warren Central gets to be the lucky team to face the Ron Colley stud pitcher Keegan Rothrock in the opening round of sectional play. Of course, Keegan, if you have not seen Keegan Rothrock pitch, she is committed to Florida as a junior and will be a tough out for anybody in that sectional. But then again, so will New Palestine, a record of 15-3-1. Yes, you heard that correct. They did have one tie. It was at the very beginning of the season, first game of the season. They had an issue with the lights. They played Eastern Hancock. That game ended in a 5-5 tie. Both teams just said, hey, you know, we're not going to worry about it. We're not going to come back and play it. We'll just call it a tie.
Yeah, and actually the issue with the lights at Eastern Hancock is that they don't have any. They don't have lights out there. Small little country school, and so again, maybe you come back and finish, but to drive out for 1 inning, or potentially it's tied. It could be more, but again, especially with the spring we ended up having with all the cancellations and everything else, it was just, look, y'all played well, we played well. Let's say we see you next year.
Of course, you talk to any folks around here, they're like, well, we would have won it.
Well,
we would have won that game.
And I'm sure the folks in blue and white feel the same way.
They sure do.
Eastern's having a nice year. They've got a nice little program, and that's why, again, Coach Markham, normally you wouldn't have a team the size of New Palestine playing, smaller schools unless they're good programs, and Eastern Hancock's is. So
the 2-0. Got her to fan that one. Allie Blum grounded into a fielder's choice, then came around to score on an error back in the first, which allowed New Palestine to score the first run of the game. And that was the first of what would be a 5-run bottom of the first inning. Trying to build on that here in the second. Strike 2. New Palestine fans hate the call. Pendleton Heights fans love it. Along with Jim Leisure, I'm John Herrick. Thank you for joining us. Another edition of High School Softball on 9 Star TV. All 3. We also talked a little bit about on Tuesday night the sectional that Pendleton Heights is in. They're in there with Mount Vernon. Anderson is also in there. Greenfield Central as well. Not an easy out. How does Shelby Messer find a way to get Blum out? Well, she does. Strike 3 called. 18th strikeout of the season for Shelby Messer, and it's a big one.
Well, the pitch was just out of the zone a little bit, maybe up and out. And again, unfortunately for Blum, I mean, the umpire had called a similar pitch. It wasn't quite that high, a strike. So you got to protect with 2.
That one swinging and driving it. Aglaya Rudd. Rudd flies out to right. And just in the blink of an eye, 2 down for New Pal here in the bottom of the second. So if you're wondering, wait a second, Shelby Messer's pitching. If you're a Pendleton Heights fan, yes. Eliza Finley only lasted a third of an inning. She gave up 4 hits, 5 runs. Only 3 of those runs are earned. 1 walk, and she did not have a strikeout. And of course, there were 2 errors defensively by Pendleton Heights that did not help things. Paige Ernstis tries to keep the inning going for the Dragons. We're on the second trip through the batting order for New Pal. Ernstis walked in the first and then came around to score. Good eye by her to stay away from that one. Pendleton Heights in the third inning will have their 4, 5, and 6 batters due up of Kylie Ryan, Chloe Gregory, and Bo Shelton. 2-0. On the money.
Yeah, pitch right on the inside corner, and again, 2-0. If it's not your favorite pitch, you don't have to swing at it. You don't want to swing at the pitcher's pitch. So you just kind of let that one go. They called a strike, but I'm still up 2-1 if I'm a hitter.
There's that crosswind that Jim mentioned earlier. It's picking up a little bit. That one driven into left. That could be trouble. That ball is out of here. A home run for Paige Ernstis. She blasts that one to left field, her 3rd home run of the season, and the New Palestine Dragons increase their lead to 6-1.
Well, she didn't like the 2-0 pitch, John. What she said, though, when she saw that 2-1 pitch was, there it is, that's what I'm looking for, and just barreled it up, had kept the weight back, great shot there, hands through, finishing high, and the left fielder, Kaya Hubble, had absolutely no shot to get that thing.
She drove that out of here.
Hershey.
And that's deflating if you're Pendleton Heights because you got those first 2 outs. Katie Hershey is next, and Hershey was an issue for Pendleton Heights in the first inning. She battled back, got a single. She's hitting .380 on the season. She also came around to score, and she had an RBI as well. It's always good when you're in the second inning of a game and you can already have a stat sheet filled. RBI, single, run scored. You're checking off a lot of columns in the stat sheet.
Yeah, there's some kids that go a whole season without having a game like that.
She gets a good piece of that.
She gets a good piece of it, John, because honestly, it's right down the middle of the plate. If you're Shelby Messer, then obviously that's a mistake. I don't think that's where she intended that ball to go, but that's what pitching is. It's about hitting spots, and she didn't hit her spot there. She put it right in the middle of the plate, and honestly, Hershey does what a good hitter does, and that's bust that.
Looked like the catcher, Kylie Ryan, wanted her to go a little bit further away from where she actually ended up. That's how you can kind of tell, right?
Yep,
you see the catcher setting up one direction. If the ball does not go that intended direction, that's your clue that the pitcher did not go where she was supposed to go with that pitch.
Yeah, again, with the benefit of the replays that we get, John, great job by our camera crew, but is that when that glove moves right there, that tells you that it's a mistake. That's not where she wanted it, or she would have set up there.
Grace Paquette is up, and in the blink of an eye, she's behind 0-2. She singled and scored back in the first inning.
You know who used to be one of the best, I think, mistake hitters in baseball was Sammy Sosa, if you're a Cub fan from days gone back. Whenever a catcher would set up either inside and move that glove inside, it normally ended up on wavelength.
Yep.
And vice versa. If he set up inside and then that glove drifted toward the outside, Sammy normally hit it out of the ballpark. So that's what hitting is.
Got her to go down swinging. So Messer does give up a home run, but she also gets 2 strikeouts. And we go to the third with the score, 6-1 New Palestine on 9 Star TV and the ISC Sports Network.
We are really heavily involved in the community, so there are multiple different volunteer opportunities that we can go and do.
Volunteer time to share their time and talents with organizations that need not only monetary assistance, but just people's time to help those organizations grow and thrive.
9 Star is a different kind of company, and the difference is you.
9 Star is very focused on customer and member care, focused on making sure that however we communicate with the member and customer is how they want to communicate.
You know, sometimes we're the one person that they speak to in a day, and you want that conversation to be happy and pleasant.
As a nonprofit co-op, we're focused on providing the best service we can for our members.
9 Star is a different kind of company, and the difference is you.
We bring you back to New Palestine with the tune of Neil Diamond, Sweet Caroline. Batters 4, 5, and 6 coming up here for the Pendleton Heights Arabians, first of which is Kylie Ryan. Takes ball one from Alexa Holmen. Holmen with a strikeout and a walk so far. She's given up 4 hits and 1 run. Ryan with 2 home runs this week, giving her now 7 on the season. 24 driven in. She was hit by a pitch her last time up to bat. That evens the count up at 1-1. So if you're just joining us, you're thinking, wait, we're in the top of the third, already 7 runs? Yeah, that's because New Palestine got 5 in the bottom of the first inning. But with a nice response there, Ryan blasts that into center. One thing you got to credit if you're Pendleton Heights, yes, you didn't get a hit in the first inning, but they have gotten the bats going these last 2. That's 5 hits now. Chloe Gregory comes up. Of course, if you're Coach Rob Davis and assistant coach over at first base, Haley Cox, you're both saying to yourselves, hey, time to start turning these hits into runs. Gregory struck out in her last at bat, and that was a big out because it ended the first inning.
Yeah, you know, again, if you're Coach Davis and you just you'd like to get a couple here, you can kind of climb back into it slowly. It's still early, top of the third. You still got a few more at bats left. I mean, certainly you'd take a big inning, but you got to try to get 1 or 2 here.
Again, there's that left field. I mean, everybody seems to be going to left today. And the wind's got something to do with it maybe, but that's very little. But he's out in front and pulling them. And
yeah, I just think, again, it's change of speed. I mean, you can move up in the box a little bit if you want to, but you do that, they're going to come fastballs with you. So
that makes the count 1-2.
Did not miss by much.
Upstairs, 2-2. Busy night at New Palestine, not just here, but other sports in action all around the high school. Looks like baseball's in action too. Got some other spring sports doing a lot of things too, which is good.
Yeah, I heard somebody talking about the unified track team is in action tonight as well, and I know unified sports in general has been a point of emphasis by the IHSAA the last couple of years, trying to get more kids involved.
I've had the chance to call the unified flag football finals 2 of the last 3 years, all 3. And that's really picked up because that's fun. You get a chance to play what is essentially your state championship game at Grand Park in Westfield. The 3-2. There's that another left field shot. Again, going foul. Good at bat here, being put together by Chloe Gregory on the season. .410 batting average. 6 home runs. She has 1 triple. And this week she is now 4 for 7. Can she go 5 for 8? Nope, 4 for 8. Pop up to Blum. One down in the top of the third.
Again, you got to credit the pitcher there for kind of inducing that weak contact, those little, excuse me, almost defensive type swings that result in pop flies on the infield.
This is really, a big part of the order for Pendleton Heights, and if you can get through it, you got to feel great as an opposing team. Ryan was 7 homers, Gregory was 6, Shelton was 7.
Well, I'll tell you, there's no real rest in this lineup.
No.
I mean, team batting average is .390 for Pendleton Heights, and I mean, you got to get all 9 of them out. They're not going to get themselves out. When you got the 9 holes at batting .381, you got to make quality pitches.
Yep, .390 for Pendleton Heights, .363 the team batting average for New Palestine. 2-0. That's the first time I think we've seen that from Alexa Holmen tonight, a 3-0 count.
Well, once again, John, that pitch did not miss by much. Looked like it was at the knees and looked like it broke over the inside corner.
Shelton clearly taking all the way, and that is 4-pitch walk. And that draws the concern of Aglaya Rudd, the catcher for New Palestine. She goes out to have a quick word with Holmen.
Imagine some of the conversation is, hey, listen, that third pitch you did not miss, okay? I mean, so, you know, make a slight adjustment, move over just a little bit on the pitching rubber, release point just a little bit of a change, maybe stride out a little bit more or stride out a little bit less. Just all kinds of different ways that a player can adjust when they're just missing the zone. And most of these kids at this point can coach themselves. I mean, Holmen is a senior, so I'm sure this is, you know, heaven only knows how many hundreds of games she's thrown throughout her lifetime. So adjust.
Now Caitlyn Goodwin comes up. She takes a called strike. She flew out to left in her last at bat. But she is batting .373 on the season. She's 4 for 7 in the 2 games coming in, and she's quickly behind here 0-2.
Again, this is where the mind games start between a hitter and a pitcher. So, you know, 2 pitches in the exact same spot, outside corner and down. So, you know, she's thinking they're going to go back. She moved up in the box toward the plate.
Check swing. She stays away. Runners stay put. 1-2.
And, of course, Holmen knows that, okay, she's expecting a pitch in a similar spot, so I'm going to throw it maybe about 6 or 8 inches outside that spot and see if I can't get her to fish.
1 run, 5 hits, 2 errors for Pendleton Heights. 6 runs, 6 hits, no errors for New Palestine. And that changes as that gets down from Goodwin. Throw to third is a good one from Oliver. Forces Ryan to hold up there, but Shelton goes to second, Goodwin to first. Bases loaded.
And a really nice job by sophomore third baseman Paige Ernstis there of kind of catching this kind of nasty short hop there. If that thing gets away, a run scores. But you know what? She just sacrifices her body and says, you know, this is probably going to hurt, but I need to take one for the team here, and caught it right in the stomach.
Brent Libler comes up. Libler takes high for ball 1. She's driven in 11 on the season. She is 3 for 7 this week. A little behind it, sends that one foul, evening the count up at 1-1. Breeze picks up a little bit. We've been in the 80s all week long for most places of central Indiana. 86 at first pitch, 84 right now. The 1-1. Not enough for the umpire's liking.
I thought that one was low. I mean, again, I've probably been a little bit harder on this plate umpire than I have been on anybody all year. It just seems to me like a lot of these pitches are very, very close. He's basically, the term is squeezing the pitcher.
2-1. Popped up out of play to even it up. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Years ago, I had the opportunity to coach with Razor Shines, Indianapolis Indian great. We were both assistant coaches at Chittard High School in baseball, and Razor used to call these type of umpires Jolly Ranchers.
This one is in play. It is caught by Engel, but not deep enough for a sac fly opportunity, so Ryan has to stay there.
And I asked him one time, I said, Razor, why do you call these guys Jolly Ranchers? He says, because his strike zone is about the size of a Jolly Rancher. And it made sense to me there.
Designated player, number 14, Lily Koffel.
So we're going to have
might have a pinch hitter here.
Yeah,
Koffel is heading back to the bench. First, I thought we might have a runner come out, but Koffel is coming out of the game. And it is Sydney Clark coming in to bat for Koffel.
Well, you know, hardly a bad hitter. She's batting .444 on the season. She has 7 RBIs and 1 home run, and coach can always re-enter Koffel.
Can't. Yep.
Number 11, Sydney Clark.
Koffel's the designated player to start out. So 2 outs, top of the third. Big opportunity here for Pendleton Heights. Can they get anyone across? It's been all New Palestine so far, but Pendleton Heights has threatened. However, they've left 5 runners on base. Ball 1 thrown by Holmen.
Obviously, Coach Davis feels like this is a huge point in the ball game. Feels like if we're going to do it, we got to at least start here. And I need somebody that I think can drive the ball.
Well, she does, but it's caught by Maddie Engel to end the inning. Ingle's been busy in left. Clark gets a good piece of it, and Pendleton Heights comes up empty. No runs, 2 hits, no errors, and they leave the bases loaded for the second inning in a row. New Palestine maintains their 5-run lead. Ingle gets a nice applause from the Dragon faithful. Not an easy catch, but she comes over and makes a nice play. We go to the bottom of the 3rd inning, where New Palestine sends up batters 7, 8, and 9 in their order. Briefly mentioned the sectional for Pendleton Heights. This is what they're going to be looking at in sectional 9. They get to open up against Richmond, and then Anderson plays the winner of that game. Greenfield Central and Mount Vernon, 2 teams that Pendleton Heights just beat on the opposite side of the bracket. And also, Jim, Anderson, and Muncie Central in that sectional. Any thoughts that you might have on them, since they're going to be a factor there?
Well, they could be. I mean, honestly, I think that the Hoosier Heritage Conference softball teams, this is a tough softball conference.
It is.
And so I would have to say that just about anybody in the HHC is probably going to be favored over those other schools. Not that those schools can't play, they can. But it's just always kind of been that way, where the HHC teams are a little stronger than the North Central Conference teams, Muncie Central, Richmond, and those types of teams. So.
Well, we see this happen a lot sometimes in both baseball and softball. The player who just ended the prior inning with a nice defensive play gets to lead off the next half inning offensively, and that's the case here with Maddie Ingle, who reached on an error back in the 1st and moves ahead in the count. Ingle's batting .259. She's homered twice, has 5 runs driven in. That's possibly playable. It's staying in, but Caitlyn Goodwin unable to track it down. Again, well, she's dealing with a little bit of a wind. She's dealing with sun right in her face. It's not the easiest play in the world, and New Palestine catches a break there.
Well, and again, another thing that you sometimes see in this game, whether it's baseball or softball, is a player basically gets new life. And you're right, the wind is kind of blowing to her right a little bit. The sun is treacherous here, but probably a play she should have made.
1-1. Upstairs for ball 2. Again, if you're just joining us, Shelby Messer is pitching in relief here for Pendleton Heights. The starter, Eliza Finley, only able to get through a 1/3 of an inning. Very uncharacteristic for her. Finley, a pitcher who's gone 12-2 so far this season. So that's very uncharacteristic for her to be bounced out of a game as that foul ball hits the top of the Pendleton Heights dugout. We are at 2-2. Here to the leadoff batter in this bottom of the 3rd inning, Maddie Ingle.
But to finish your thought, John, sometimes when a hitter gets new life, they get an extra swing or whatever. I mean, I've seen kids just drive the ball to the ballpark. I've seen them hit line drives to the fence. And then, you know, the pitcher and or the coach is like, why didn't we get her out when we had the chance?
Check swing. Called foul.
Oh, we've had
close.
Yeah, a close one down the 3rd base line, and now we've had a close one down the 1st base line, but I think both of them were called correctly. The ball, when first touched, is in foul territory.
Yep, it is. Not by much, but it is.
Maddie Ingle's getting her money's worth here.
She is battling. One of 2 freshmen in this New Palestine starting lineup. The other one being Katie Hershey.
You know, as a parent, you spend $350, $400 on a bat. You want to see your kid get a little money, you know, get money's worth, right?
Yep. Might be playable for DeRolf. It is. DeRolf able to slide to her right, make the catch. 1 down. Delaney Barton is up. She has singled and driven in a run tonight.
Of course, I would like to note that my first car didn't cost $350.
What did you drive?
The 1966 Dodge Coronet convertible.
Oh, wow.
Paid $250 for it. Still got it. Needs about $30,000 worth of repairs. So all I got to do about 60,000 of these games.
And that one is just foul on that hit from Delaney Barton. Had a lot of long strikes tonight. A lot of balls hitting foul territory.
Starting to think about like Cousin Eddie in Vegas Vacation. I'm going to sell a kidney. Don't really need the money right now, but with all the advancements in medical science, I figure I better sell while they're buying.
I don't know.
I just stole that 100% from Cousin Eddie.
But again, issue is how many buyers are you going to have?
I don't know.
That one gets away from Messer.
I've never had an original thought, John. Everything I say comes from a movie or a song.
Or someone who coached you.
Yes, exactly. My dad said a lot of stupid things when I was a kid that I still remember.
Well, when you share those things with us, we can become more intelligent, so we know not to use those phrases.
Well, okay, because I was going to say most people would argue that I'm dumbing down the audience.
Oh, man. Now, did you take any of these quotes from maybe movies that were so stupid, but they were so funny that you couldn't?
I think a movie, the dumber, the stupider, the better. I was one. I thought Dumb and Dumber was overlooked by the Academy. Just cinematic genius.
Yeah, you probably thought the sequel was overlooked too.
Most sequels stink. I don't care what it is.
Again, there's that left side of the infield where the ball gets hit. And Libler unable to make the play. It's an infield hit, though.
Yeah, I scored that a hit, John. She had one shot, and you're going to see it here. She's got one shot to make this play. Boom, right there. Got to get the tough short hop while you're moving to your left. If you pick it, your momentum carries you to the middle of the diamond. You're almost halfway to first base. It's an easy throw, but she was unable to do so. And again, credit the hitter.
Yeah, and you got to say this too: whenever you're making a judgment call about what's a hit or an error, ask yourself this: would the play have been made if it was routine? It has to be a routine play that the player makes the error on, and that was not really a routine play. Libler had to do a lot just to get her glove on it. Oliver is up. Sydney Oliver takes high for ball one, grounded into a fielder's choice in her first at bat. But she is 3 for 7 this week, and she has scored 4 runs. So the sophomore center fielder has spent quite a bit of time on the base paths. I don't think New Palestine's had a busier week playing softball than the week they've had this week. Games on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and then they've got another one Saturday. Two of them Saturday, yeah.
Yeah, Munster and Crown Point coming down from the region to play kind of a split doubleheader, for lack of a better term.
1-1, got a little bit away from Shelby Messer there.
And a lot of people may ask, why would teams like Crown Point and Munster travel all the way down here? Well, honestly, the truth of the matter is there's some really, really good softball being played in Central Indiana at all levels. And if you want to win in Indianapolis or, down here in Central Indiana in June, you got to come down here in May and April.
Strike 2 there from Messer. Yeah, you want to be playing at Purdue University. That's what you got to be ready for. That is where the softball state finals will be played this year. First set of games will be on Friday night, June 10th. Second set will be on Saturday, June 11th. How to count is full.
I'm not allowed on the Purdue campus anymore. There was an incident. Apparently Mitch Daniels' car ended up in the pool. Not that I was ever charged, but they've asked me never to return.
Okay, now is that true or is that just something you're saying?
I'm just making
Okay,
it up.
all right. That one popped up to Libler. I was going to say, if there's a big story there, we definitely need to hear it.
Well, being a WIBC guy, I would be reluctant to speak with you anyway, just because it would go right on the airways, and I'm aware of it. But no, I don't let a lot of facts get in the way of my stories, John. I find that that way I don't have to worry about remembering the truth. I just talk until I get tired.
What was that saying in the John Wayne movie? It's like when you have a chance sometimes to print the fact or the legend, print the legend.
Print the legend,
Yep.
yeah.
I think that was Man Who Shot Liberty Valance. I think that's what that movie's from.
It could be. I have seen so many John Wayne films. A lot of them just kind of run together.
They kind of run together, but they're all really good.
Absolutely.
Elena Miller is up, and base hit back up the middle. Runners on first and second with 2 outs. And Miller, by the way, the female student athlete of the year, as nominated and won at New Palestine High School. And she continues to have an outstanding year, batting .365. She's 2 for 2 in this game. 2 for 3 in this game now. She did fly out to center on her second trip up. That brings Allie Blum up to the plate, and Blum fouls the first pitch back.
Well, we talked about the Pendleton Heights lineup and how, again, you got to get them out. They don't get themselves out. Well, obviously the same can be said about these Dragon hitters as well. Yet another rally, really. I mean, when you consider that it's, I know there's 2 outs, but still you got 2, 3, 4 coming up with runners in scoring position if you can string together a couple hits.
That evens a count up. Those of you watching high school softball might be a little unfamiliar with it. We play 7 innings. It is a 10-run rule after 5. The 1-1. She stays away from it and moves ahead in the count. This inning, here's how it started. A fly out to right by Maddie Engel, then a single by Delaney Barton. Pop up to third by Oliver, then a single by Miller. To put runners on first and second here. Bottom of the third with 2 outs. And if you walk Allie Blum here, what you then end up doing is you put up Aglaya Rudd, who's already singled and scored in this game.
But believe me, Blum is looking for a pitch to drive. She's looking for a ball in a certain zone so she can just unload on it. And if you don't get it, you take it.
Take it, yep.
Even if that pitch had been a strike, but a strike that, a pitch where she didn't like it, she would have taken that pitch. You're looking for one to drive.
Bases loaded again for New Pal, and Aglaya Rudd is up. To give you an idea of Rudd this year, .524 batting average, 5 home runs, 9 doubles. That one gets away from Ryan, and Ryan able to recover it, though, to prevent the runners from advancing. This is where a catcher's role in the game becomes critical, because if she lets the ball get past her, or if she can't save a wild pitch, or she allows a pass ball, that allows the runners to move up a base. Coach Rob Davis, I'm sure he is tired of making these trips to the circle. This is his 3rd one already tonight. His team is down 6-1, and it could get worse unless they can come up with a stop here.
Well, he's going to remind his kids, look, we got 2 outs, ladies. Let's just get out of this thing. Make quality pitches, hit quality spots. If the ball's hit to you, just simply take it wherever it takes you. I mean, if you're the third baseman, for example, and you have to come in on it, either go home or go one. If you're the shortstop, ball's hit to your left, just go 2. Shortstop or second baseman, if it's hit to your right, you're going to go 2. Hit to your left, you're going to go 1. Just take the ball where it takes you. And just says, let's get out of this inning, ladies.
And Rob Davis, as you saw there on your screen, certainly has a lot of experience. His 12th season as the coach. Line shot, and Brent Libler, as she has done a lot this year, able to make the catch and end the inning. It's still New Palestine on top, 6-1 as we go to the 4th on 9 Star TV and the ISC Sports Network.
When moving into a new home, we ask ourselves questions like, who is the best internet provider in town? Well, have you considered locally owned 9 Star Connect? We've become the fastest, most reliable, and dedicated fiber-to-the-home internet company in central Indiana. Our internet packages have been modified, and we are changing speeds at a more competitive price. So give us a look. Visit us at 9starconnect.com. 9 Star is a different kind of company, and the difference is you.
Who knew that 9-Star Connect, a local smart utility, has the fastest internet in Indiana? 9-Star offers speeds up to 2 gig. That's upload and download speeds. Try getting that from any other provider. No data limits or caps on speed. The speed you pay for is the speed you get. 9-Star has state-of-the-art fiber optics with a dedicated line to each house. 9-Star Connect, Indiana's fastest internet. Who knew?
Here's an interesting stat for you. Through 3 innings, we have had 14 combined runners left on base between the two teams of New Palestine and Pendleton Heights. Along with Jim Leisure, I'm John Herrick. Thank you for joining us on the ISC Sports Network and 9-Star TV. And we have a new pitcher for the New Palestine Dragons. It is Katie Kotlowski. So she is relieving Alexa Holmen. And she ends up getting to face off with the top of the order for the New Palestine Dragons. Yep, it is 1, 2, 3 coming up. Kaya Hubble, Haley Brunnemer, and Caroline DeRolf. And there is a look at Kotlowski's numbers, an experienced senior.
Yeah, and you may be asking yourself, I mean, and I don't know, Alexa Holmen did seem like she was cruising right along. But, again, you don't lose much when you go to Kotlowski here. And, again, if you're going to win the tournament, you're going to win it all, you probably need 2 quality pitchers. And she's certainly capable of coming in and pitching in this spot.
Kaya Hubble today, 1 for 2 with a single. She's batting .481 on the season and takes a ball.
Now batting left field number 10, Kaya Hubble.
She's 5 of 9 this week. She scored 3 runs in what is the 3rd game for these Pendleton Heights Arabians this week alone. Same for Pendleton Heights. Chopped over to second. Not an easy play at first, and they say she beat the throw.
Well, we will, of course, get the replay, the benefit of the replay that the umpires don't get. It looked very, very close. In real time, honestly, John, I thought she was safe. I thought she was kind of through the bag when the glove popped. But we'll see it right here, I guess.
Yep, and I think they made the correct call.
And like you said, very difficult play for the second baseman, Miller, who had to kind of come charging in and did not have any time at all to set her feet, really even get the ball in a good throwing position. It was get it and flip it, and just not able to do so in time. Rudd really tried to frame that pitch there, did not get the call.
The 1-1, a drive into right and out of play by Brunnemer, who was 0 for 1 in this game with a walk. She walked in the first, ended up stranded on second, then popped out to second in the second.
A good pitch there by Kotlowski, again out of the zone, and got a good hitter like Brunnemer to kind of chase one. Right now she's thinking punch out.
Pulled into left. Engel chasing it. Engel's been busy over there, but that goes out of play. In fact, tonight, Engel has made 4 defensive putouts in left field. That's how busy she's been. Probably the biggest play of the game was made in the 3rd inning by her. Bases loaded. Pendleton Heights is down by 5. They need to get runners across, and she makes a not easy catch in left field. Made it look easier than it actually was.
Yeah, tough line drive, and if you don't come up with that ball, obviously it goes to the wall, and people are running like crazy.
Good battle here by Brunnemer. This is part of the reason why she drew the walk in the 1st inning. Made it hard for Alexa Holmen. So the final pitching numbers on Holmen. She goes 3 innings. She gives up 6 hits. She allows 1 run, has 2 walks, and a strikeout. Good stop again. Throw to first. Got back in time. So Aglaya Rudd trying to take her shot there. Barton applied the tag, but it's 2-2.
Well, I like the shot. I like the chance that you take. You know, again, just make that base runner aware of, hey, listen, I see you. Take another step, and I'm gonna own you.
That one isn't playable. Ernstis, though, cannot hang on.
I'll let you call it, John.
I think that's probably going to have to be an error.
I would agree with you.
It was not the easiest play in the world, but routine enough that she probably could have been able to get at least one runner, if not at second. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, again, she definitely is going to get the gal at first base, because by the time her momentum took her, she would have been almost in the circle and would have been an easy throw.
So first error of the game for New Palestine on defense. Caroline DeRolf is up. She has popped up twice. 0 for 2 in the game. Putting her at 2 for 7 this week. She does have 10 doubles this season and has homered once. She also hasn't even really been in a situation this week, I feel like, where she's been up to bat with runners on base.
Yeah.
They've usually been cleared by the time she gets up this week, which is a good problem to have.
Certainly.
2 run rule victories this week for Pendleton Heights over Greenfield Central and Mount Vernon. Now the count is 3-0 to DeRolf, who's putting together a nice at-bat here against the relief pitcher, Kodlowski.
Yeah, I would be stunned if Coach Davis gives her the green light here. I think you take this pitch all the way.
.30 offering. Fakes bunt. Throw to second. She gets back. I wasn't sure there if maybe Hubble was thinking about going off to third. Of course, if you bunt in that situation, you got to get your bat back real quick to make sure that you don't get called for interference. We actually saw that on Tuesday night. Girl got called for interfering with the catcher and was ruled out. 3-1 on the money to run the count full.
Well, that's the spot. If you're Katie Kodlowski, that's where you want to be. It's a difficult pitch, even because it's a strike, but even if the hitter hits it, they're not going to hit it hard unless they go the other way with it, take it to left field.
Ball 4. And here we are again. I feel like it just has been a routine. And missed, but not by much. Aglaya Rudd did the best she could to frame it up. Runner on first. Now we got to change.
See if we can get a number here from the home plate umpire. They'll normally yell it up to the press box.
24, Kylie Fisher.
Running at first base, number 24, Kylie Fisher.
Fisher is the junior off the bench. Now running at first for DeRolf. All right, huge opportunity here for Pendleton Heights. You're up against a relief pitcher for New Palestine. You got the bases loaded and nobody out with Kylie Ryan, who, by the way, has hit a grand slam this week.
Well, the corners are in, John, so anything hit hard to the first baseman or third baseman, they'll probably come home and eliminate the run at the plate with a force.
The big risk you take there, though, you play in and she hits it beyond you. That's in the outfield, and that could score at least 2.
And then, you know, in the middle, they're going to probably concede the run, try to get 2 if they can. If not, again, they'll just take the out. When in doubt, get an out.
Powered into right. Could be playable for the sac fly. Paquette makes the catch. Tagging up from third is Hubble, and she slides in. So the sac fly is successful for Kylie Ryan. She does get an RBI. That scores Hubble. It is 6-2, the lead for New Palestine.
You can see the replay here. Great job by the right fielder for New Palestine. Paquette catches the ball, doesn't hesitate. She knows exactly what she's going to do. That's a great job of an outfielder just knowing, hey, if it's hit to me in the air, I'm coming home. I'm not looking. I'm not waiting. I'm not checking. I'm firing the ball home. Just unfortunately, runner third base too fast.
Fisher stays at first. High pitch there from Kotlowski. And then when the tag up happened, Brennemer took off and took third base.
Which that's just a given because, again, you know, your ball's hit to right field. It's on the right field line. You're at second base. You go ahead and tag. Even if she catches it in foul territory, there's no way she can throw you out at third.
Chloe Gregory is up. She's 0 for 2 in this game. Came in batting .410, putting her in 3 games this week at 4 for 8, 2-0. That's foul. And one thing to keep an eye on, Fisher was running over there at first. Maybe Fisher tries to steal second here. Only reason I bring that up is because she gets second. You would have 2 runners in scoring position instead of 1.
Well, first and third situations are always fun for the offense, far less fun for the defense.
This could be a double play. Flip to second. There's one. On to first. Not in time. Plays at first have been tough to make for both teams tonight, but the force is put on at second base. However, it does score Brunnemer from third, makes it 6-3.
Second base number 9, Bo Shelton.
Yeah, the ball was, again, just if it had been hit a little further to the left, the shortstop's left towards second, she could have fielded it and stepped on the bag and came across. But 60-foot base pass, John, it's hard to turn 2.
Bo Shelton comes up. She's 1 for 1 with a walk, a run scored. She has singled in this game. She moves ahead here 1-0. RBIs tonight for Pendleton Heights from Kaya Hubble, Kylie Ryan, and now Chloe Gregory. And on the New Palestine Dragons side, RBIs for Paquette, Barton, Oliver. A couple of runs scored. The other 3 scored by way of errors. The 1-1. Hammered down the right field line. That is fair. That could be big trouble. Coach Davis waving her around. It is 6-4. RBI double for Bo Shelton. Gets to score Gregory.
First baseman number 7, Caitlyn Goodwin.
Just a little inside-out swing, and the ball just lands just maybe a foot or 2 feet fair. A little surprised. Again, I don't know whether, what kind of wheels Bo Shelton has, but I would have maybe tried to get her to third.
Strike call.
I know the old axiom, never make the third out of an inning at third base. But, again, it would have taken just a great throw and a great relay and a long way to throw it to get her at third.
I loved watching Coach Rob Davis's reaction. He waved home Gregory, as now Caitlyn Goodwin here is behind 0-2. But then after he did that, he immediately said to Shelton, stay right there.
Yep. As a third base coach, that was always a little difficult. You got 2 runners there, and, you're using a combination of voice commands as well as hand signals, and sometimes the kid at third thinks you're talking to him when you're saying stay, and that's why you use the signals.
Fouled off here by Goodwin. Goodwin tonight 1 for 2. She has singled.
Out through the years, I had a kid that would round third, and then again he's gone. In my mind, he's gone, so I immediately start communicating with the player at second, and I'm saying stay, and all of a sudden he comes back, and it's like, what are you doing? I told you to go an hour ago.
Tried to get Goodwin to chase one, but Kotlowski unsuccessful.
Good pitch, good waist pitch, and again, if she wants to get herself out, she can swing at that if you want to.
Elena Holmen came out after 3 innings, Alexa Holmen came out after 3 innings. Katie Kotlowski took over here in the 4th, and it's been a rocky adventure here in her relief appearance. The 1-2. Powers that into right. That's heading towards the gap, and that's exactly where it lands. And Pendleton Heights is within 1. It's an RBI double for Caitlyn Goodwin.
Just a really good at-bat. Stays back, probably an off-speed type pitch. Keeps her hands and her weight back, and then just able to come through late and just flip the ball out into right center. Ball gets all the way to the screen. Has the play right in front of her, easy slide into second base.
4 runs, 3 hits in this inning for Pendleton Heights. Here's how it got started. Single by Hubble. Brunnemer reaches on the air. DeRolf walks. Ryan flies out to right. Gregory grounds into an RBI fielder's choice. RBI double by Shelton. RBI double by Goodwin. Brent Libler comes up, and I think Coach Rob Davis is possibly making a change here, putting another runner in.
Pitcher in second base, number 1.
Yep.
Eliza Fry.
Alyssa Fry takes over at second base. This could tie the game. That is picked up by Engel. The throw in. Play at the plate, and she is tagged out to end the inning. So the hit by Brent Libler, and then Fry is tagged out at home plate, and Coach Davis cannot believe it. How big could that be as we continue on in this one? One more look at it. Libler gets a good piece of it going opposite way. Scooped up well there by Engel. Got it back in. What a throw that is, and a tag by Rudd. Fantastic.
Could not have been played any better by the freshman Maddie Engel in left field. Just set up. She knew what she was going to do. Set up, played the big hop, caught the ball with her momentum coming toward the plate. It's okay on turf, obviously, to skip it in there. You don't have to throw a strike all the way from left field. She leaves the ball maybe 10 to 12 feet from home plate, bounces perfectly to the catcher, Rudd, who then applies the tag.
We mentioned the fact that both these teams are in the Hoosier Heritage Conference and that New Palestine was a game behind Pendleton Heights in the standings. And everybody, of course, chasing Shelbyville and Yorktown for the conference bragging rights. 8 of the 9 batters in the Pendleton order came up there in the top of the 4th. But New Palestine hangs on, leading by 1 now. They have never trailed in this game. They led 5-0 after the first. And Pendleton Heights has rallied. But batters 5, 6, and 7 due up for the Dragons. Katie Hershey, Grace Paquette, Maddie Engel. First pitch to Hershey is high for ball 1.
I have Paige Ernstis, John.
Oh, my bad. You're correct. Paige Ernstis, yes. Okay, 4, 5, and 6.
We've all done it. We've all done it. I've actually scored entire hitters in the wrong spot before and then realized, wait, and then I had to go back and erase everything.
I had a friend of mine who was, I needed him to scout a game because he and I were going to be calling a game that was featuring a team in the game that I couldn't be at. I was calling a different game the next town over. And he filled out the score sheet. I said, can you keep track of what's happening here? As we're at 3-0 count, brings up a conversation here in the circle between Kylie Ryan and Shelby Messer. He fills out the score sheet, and there's a couple of WWs in there. And I'm like, okay, this girl single, double, and then she went W. What's that? He goes, oh, I missed that, so I just put WW there for wasn't watching.
I knew, and then although I don't think you ever told me that story before, I knew what you were going to.
And I'm like,
watching.
And I'm like, so what am I supposed to say tomorrow? That she was 2 for 2 with a wasn't watching, or she was 0 for 3 with a WW? Yeah, because people are really going to understand that. 3-0 pitch down the middle for strike 1.
Well, I appreciate his candor. Obviously, he could have. Of course, how hard would it have been maybe to, if you're in the stands, to lean over to the person next to you and go, how'd that kid get on? And say, well, it was an error by the third baseman. Or it's a single up the middle, and you could have scored it then. But was this back in your, Oklahoma days?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And again, sometimes when you're doing high school softball, chasing down information's not easy. That one driven into right by Ernstis. Out number 1.
I'll tell you what, things like max preps have made it so much easier, and most schools do a nice job.
Both these schools do a great job with that.
Yep. Pendleton and New Palestine updating their max prep stats pretty much almost within the hour of the completion of the game. As you see,
Eliza Finley's warming back up.
Yeah, and I wondered if maybe you don't bring her back in. I mean, obviously, I don't know how emotionally upset she was about that inning. A lot of it wasn't her fault. There was 2 errors. And Coach Davis maybe said, listen, go sit down. We'll put Shelby in. Shelby can hold him. We'll get back in it, and then we'll put you back in. Just go get your head correct. And again, I don't know that necessarily was the case. But I could see it happening sometimes. With young players, they don't always see the fact that if we don't have 2 errors, we're out of that inning 4 batters ago.
Popped up again as Hershey was behind it. Hershey's had a solid night tonight. 2 for 2, 2 singles, a run scored. And Katie Hershey this week is 6 for 8. 2 runs scored. She's also driven in 5 in the 3 games that they've played. Clearly a waste pitch there by Messer, which Hershey did not bite on. One, 2. That is in play. That is toward the left field line, and that ball is out of here. Right as Pendleton Heights started to make a run, the freshman designated player, Katie Hershey, continues to have a dominant week and hits a solo shot to left center.
Well, John, I was just honestly, again, I was getting ready to say that she's a really just impressive-looking player. Does a really nice job. And just a freshman, so she's only going to get better. But she bangs this thing off the scoreboard. Luckily, protecting my Chrysler 300, which is parked just beyond that scoreboard. So, thank you.
Park at your own risk.
Yeah, whoever put that up there, Al Cooper, whoever, nice job.
Grace Paquette is next. 1 for 2 with a single tonight. She also has driven in a run and scored a run. Back to left center again. Could we have back-to-back homers? Not quite. Haley Brunnemer makes the catch for the second out. Every half inning in this game has been an adventure. New Palestine has had at least 1 hit in every inning. Again, good swing by Paquette.
And just to be clear, Fiat Chrysler is not a sponsor of 9-Star High School Baseball Game of the Week. But if anybody from Fiat Chrysler is listening and they want to pony up with some cash, I'm sure John Painter and Bill McKenna will listen.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure they'd love to fork the deal. That one's heading towards the same direction. Could that get out of here? Yep. 2 solo home runs in the bottom of the 4th. This one, Maddie Engel. Engel crushes that one to left center. Her first hit of the night.
But 3rd home run of the season. So every time Pendleton kind of climbs back in it, New Pal comes back and answers.
I don't think Coach Ed Markham was thrilled about them leaving the bases loaded there in the bottom of the 3rd. And they have cashed in here in the bottom of the 4th. And they needed some insurance runs. Right as Pendleton Heights cut the lead to 1. Again, we see so many games in softball, the momentum change. Boy, she got a hold of that one.
Yeah.
You get that play at the plate, protect the lead. You're still up by 1. That fires up your dugout. You come out the next inning, 2 home runs. Delaney Barton, this has been a dangerous hitter tonight. The senior first baseman, 2 for 2. With 2 singles. She's also driven in a run.
John, you make an excellent point, too. That play at the plate, not only was it well executed by Maddie Engel and the catcher, Aglaya Rudd, but that can energize a ball club.
Yeah.
That can get everybody saying, all right, ladies, let's go, right? We've been basically kicking it around and not playing New Pal softball. That's New Pal softball. Now let's just build on it.
You're right. I mean, it's like, and the inning was getting a little demoralizing because Pendleton Heights is making a run.
Yep.
You've gone from being up 6-1 to only up 6-5. You got to make a play, and they made it.
Yeah, you got errors, you got walks, things that normally good teams don't do, and then you're able to shut it down with a great play.
2-1. So right back to the net. So Pendleton Heights, who's been one of the best hitting teams in 4A this year, 9-1-2 is the order. Now, Sydney Clark pinch hit for Lily Koffel back in the 3rd inning. See if he decides to bring in Clark or go back to Koffel. Then we go back to Kaya Hubble and Haley Brunnemer, who you can most definitely be assured that Coach Rob Davis will send up. And we'll do the 2-2 over again.
Well, I do think that if Clark can play any defensive position, he would probably leave her in. She's the bigger hitter, the person that can hit with a little bit of power. And when you're down 3 runs, at this point in the game, coming into the 5th inning, you don't really need slap hitters necessarily. I mean, who knows? Might get to a spot where you could use one, but.
Put in play, grabbed by Shelton, inning over. But 2 solo home runs for New Palestine. Ups their lead to 3. They lead at 8-5 on the ISC Sports Network and 9-Star TV.
3, 2, 1.
Has the first dunk in the building from Aaron Joya. Waits, Waddell finishes. And lays it in. There is right now the play of the game. Better finish. Good. We might see that on plays of the week. Great speed. The finish. Spin, win, 3. Bury it in the lane. No, gun, yes. Stop. Whoa, what a play. Flying in.
At 9-Star Connect, our history spans back to the late 1800s, where family time, building livelihoods and neighborhoods, sharing stories of the day, and looking forward to chasing new dreams were important to all of us. Today, 9-Star still values these things. That's why we have a local 24/7, 365 support center. We are still here for you, as it's been for the past 125 years. At 9-Star Connect, we're a different kind of company, and the difference is you.
Look at a man who's putting together a legendary softball coaching career at New Palestine. Ed Markham in his 19th season. Of course, he's seen just about everything on a softball diamond. His team has been in a battle here, up and down tonight. They jumped out to a 5-0 lead. Of course, Pendleton Heights came back. When it was 6-1, they cut it to 6-5, but then New Pal just got 2 solo home runs in the bottom of the 4th inning from Katie Hershey and Maddie Engel to increase their lead to 8-5. And we start off this inning with Lily Koffel. So he is gone. Coach Wade Davis has, from Lily Koffel to Sydney Clark, back to Koffel, which you can do in softball. The 1-0 outside from Katie Kotlowski. So also, if you're just joining us, Kotlowski, the relief pitcher for New Pal, came in the 4th and had a very difficult 4th inning, as you can tell by the score. Gave up 4 runs on 4 hits. The 2-0 is good for a strike. Now Alexa Holmen, the starting pitcher for New Pal, went 3 innings, gave up 6 hits, 1 run, had 1 strikeout and 2 walks. Both teams on relief pitchers. Slapped over to second, Elena Miller got it.
Well, we talked about that slap hitter type of player that Lily Koffel is, and obviously Coach Davis decided to put her back in now. Again, if he takes her out again, she's done for the night. You can take starters out and re-enter them once, and if you take them out a second time, they're done. So it looks like it's going to be Lily Koffel the rest of the way, unless Lily finds herself batting.
The line shot off the glove of Kotlowski, and that's good for a hit. Not much she could do about that. She did everything she could to keep it in the infield, and really it was bouncing over to where nobody was able to pick it up. Of course, her whole team checking to make sure if she's okay. Wow.
Yeah, again, that's obviously why most pitchers, I think, wear those protective masks. I don't know that I've ever seen anybody not wear one, frankly, John. It might even be a rule. Yeah, and again, the only shot would have been if maybe the ball kicks right to the first baseman or kicks right to the second baseman, but unfortunately for the Dragons, that did not happen.
And that makes Kaya Hubble now 3 for 4. Drive into right center on the run. Oliver throws back to second, doubles her off. Hubble was too far down the line, and assistant coach Haley Cox telling her that's not what I told you to do. And it's a double play to end the top of the 5th inning.
Well, you're going to see just a great effort by Dragons center fielder Sydney Oliver. Again, just a young sophomore. The ball's hit, and she gets a great jump, John. She's already playing kind of almost behind second base. Same deal. I mean, I'm sure people are communicating to her. 1-1-1-1-1. She catches the ball, doesn't hesitate, fires a strike. What a play by the sophomore center fielder for New Palestine. Here it is again. She just gets such a great jump on this ball, John. Again, long way to go, but she had played the hitter kind of to the first base side. And look at everybody celebrate. That's a big deal.
Here's the other thing, too. Pendleton Heights has out-hit New Palestine in this game. They have 11 hits to New Palestine's 10. That's just got to be frustrating if you are the Arabians thinking we've had our chances. But the problem is base running at times has hurt them. And they have allowed they've had 9 players left on base tonight. And we have Sydney Oliver coming up in the bottom of the 5th. Batters 9, 1, and 2 due up for New Palestine as they try to preserve this 8-5 lead. They have never trailed. And also, here's what's at stake. Bit of bragging rights, too. Pendleton Heights has not beaten New Palestine in softball since 2015. So they're looking for their first win against the Dragons in 7 years, as that one is flown out to left by Oliver.
Well, again, we say it all the time, but how many times you see somebody who makes the great defensive play, in the top of the inning and then come right back up. And she got a nice piece of it, barreled it up, but hit it right at the left fielder.
Elena Miller's next. She is 2 for 3. So RBIs tonight, by the way, for New Pal from Katie Hershey, Grace Paquette, Maddie Engel, Delaney Barton, Sydney Oliver. And Elena Miller is up. She's ahead in the count 1-0. And after Miller, it's Allie Blum. A bit outside to even it up.
I got to believe Elena Miller here is thinking, just give me something that I can drive. She's looking for her pitch.
2-0 offering. Put in play. Grabbed by Shelton. On to first. Out number 2. Allie Blum is next. Now, Blum has reached base safely twice, but she's 0 for 1 with a run scored, a walk, and a strikeout. But Blum is one of the best hitters on the team. Batting nearly 400, has homered 7 times. For Pendleton Heights, they have their 3, 4, 5 batters due up in the 6th. And there's ball 1. So again, a 1-game lead in the conference standings for Pendleton Heights over New Pal. So if New Pal wins this game, they are even in the conference standings, with not a whole lot of softball left to play. Both these teams will have their regular season finales on May 20th, and then it's off to the sectional round. 2-0.
Catcher Aglaya Rudd on deck there, has the shin guards on, just in case this at-bat does not end well.
That is playable. And catch made by Shelton. First 1-2-3 inning of the game for either team. And we go to the 6th with New Pal ahead by 3 on the ISC Sports Network and 9-Star TV.
My name is Patty Potty, and I'd like to talk to you about all those kinds of convenience products. People are flushing down the toilet, clogging up our sewer system, and causing expensive repair bills. They might flush down, but they sure don't flush out. Make sure you trash them. Don't flush them, only flush the 3 P's. Pee, poo, and paper. Toilet paper, that is. And remember, no wipes in those pipes.
This important message was brought to you by 9-Star Connect, your water and sewer provider.
The innocence of youth. Is there anything any better? But soon they'll be in high school and facing all the same challenges you faced. How to make friends, how to fit in, how to be cool. We want our children to have everything they'll need to live fulfilling and productive lives. Make sure the kids in your family are among the more than 160,000 participants here in Indiana who take part in high school sports.
Getting down to crunch time in this one. New Palestine leading Pendleton Heights 8-5 on 9-Star TV and the ISC Sports Network, along with Jim Leisure and the rest of the fantastic crew here, led by John Painter and Bill McKenna. I'm John Herrick with you from New Palestine softball field, where the Dragons have had the lead the entire game, but this game has been far from uninteresting. In fact, it's been quite compelling. Two of the best teams in Class 4A, both ranked in the top 10. New Palestine ranked 5th, Pendleton Heights 8th. And strike one thrown to Caroline DeRolf, the leadoff hitter in this inning for the Arabians. She bats third in the order. She's 0 for 2 with a walk. Drives this down the left field line, but it goes foul.
And you know, John, I really thought this was going to be a very close competitive game, as it has turned out to be. I did not expect this. I really thought two well-played games, two well-pitched games, and you know, maybe a 2-1 score, you know, 3-2, that kind of thing. Either way, entertainment's entertainment, and this one certainly has been that.
But also keep in mind, these are two of the best hitting teams in 4A.
There's no doubt about it. I mean, again, something has to give when you got two good hitting teams, you know, facing teams that are pretty good pitchers. Neither pitcher is really dominant. They're strong in certain areas.
But also, too, it is surprising that both these teams are on relief pitchers at this point. Katie Kotlowski for New Palestine, Shelby Messer for Pendleton Heights. The biggest surprise, I would think, for the game so far is that Eliza Finley, the starting pitcher for Pendleton Heights, only lasted a third of an inning. And her team is only down by 3, maybe less if Caroline DeRolf can now get home. So Pendleton Heights has had at least a hit in every inning but the first.
Yeah, getting back to your point, John, I never would have dreamed in a million years that Eliza Finley wouldn't have lasted, you know, out of the first inning. That would have been a pretty easy bet, but that's why you play them, right?
That's why you play the games. And Kylie Ryan is up, 1 for 2 in this game. She's been hit by a pitch. She's also driven a run in. And Pendleton Heights has had a lot of chances. They just got their 12th hit of the game. It's just been getting runners across that's plagued them in this one.
Got to be really careful here with Kylie Ryan. She's had a big week, couple big bombs.
Yeah, one of them ended that game against Mount Vernon on Monday night. You know, I say ended. They were up by 9 runs in the bottom of the 5th, so she hits the grand slam, which allows them to end the game early via the run rule. Coach Rob Davis says something to the umpire. He's signaling for a runner to come on for DeRolf at first base. That is Kylie Fisher. Fisher did the same thing back in the 4th inning.
Well, that last pitch by Kotlowski was really a good pitch. It was an off-speed pitch, just caught the corner. And Ryan didn't like the pitch because, honestly, it was real good. Hey, if it's a real good pitch, don't swing at it.
Upstairs, makes it 2-1.
You know, unless you've got 2 strikes on you, you don't have to swing at their pitch. You don't like it, don't swing at it. In the average at bat, you're going to see your favorite pitch one time. When you see it, bust it. Don't foul it off. Don't look at it. Hit it hard.
Nearly hit her. Ball 3. Fisher looks quite antsy over there at first.
Fisher does have 3 stolen bases on the season. Again, for a team that doesn't steal a lot, I think they have 17 total.
Not quite sure what the delay is for, but I think Coach Markham wants to come out and talk to Katie Kotlowski. And maybe he might be saying, let's just maybe put Kylie Ryan on first. Not that you see an intentional walk.
I've seen dumber things. I mean, you know, let's face it. I mean, Joe Madden walked a guy with the bases loaded the other night in the 4th inning because he just didn't want to pitch to it. The guy was, you know, hitting really, really hot at the time. I forget who the hitter was, but I don't know that he's doing that. I don't know. It almost looked to me like Kotlowski kind of asked him to come out. I thought at first maybe it might be some type of equipment, maybe the mask or something had come loose. And
whatever it is, conversation is over. Yeah, she is holding the mask. As you look at Coach Ed Markham again, nearly 2 decades of coaching at New Palestine. Top of the 6th, nobody out. 3-1 count to Kylie Ryan, who's hitting almost 400 this season. Drives this out of here foul, so now the count is full.
Now, you know, what he may have been saying to her was, you know, hey, listen, if we walk her, it's not necessarily the end of the world. You certainly don't want to put the tying run at the plate, though, but it's just be careful. Make good pitches here. Be smart. Don't give her anything to drive.
Well, if you give her something down in the zone, that's one thing you can do. Now, Rudd has to be careful. Go back and get it, because even though that's a walk, she doesn't track that ball down quickly. Fisher could maybe take third, but she ends up holding up at second. So here we go again. Runners threatening. First and second. Nobody out.
The shortstop, number 5, Chloe Gregory.
And I think we're going to have a pitcher coming back in. That is Alexa Holmen. So Holmen is returning. Now again, we may see this same scenario happen on the opposite side. A lot of teams in high school softball typically only have 2 pitchers, maybe 3. So Holmen was taken out of the game. Now she is being re-entered and will take over for Kotlowski. So Kotlowski pitched the 4th and the 5th. She is responsible for those 2 runners in the 6th as Holmen comes back out to take her warm-up pitches. Holmen has never lost this season, by the way. She's 8-0.
Yeah, John, again, this is not horribly uncommon, but it's not common either that you see, and it would be real uncommon for both starting pitchers to come back in. And now, again, unless maybe this happens a lot in travel ball or something, I don't call or go to a lot of travel ball games, but I know at the high school level it would be very, very rare for both starting pitchers to re-enter.
Yep, indeed. And then we bring in Chloe Gregory, who pops up out to second. Elena Miller goes down. So that's the benefit of putting Holmen back in the game, right? She comes in and gets the first pitch swinging and out number 1.
Well, yeah, I mean, again, as a coach, you always want to make sure, you know, you'd like for your moves to work out, and so far that one has worked out well.
Now Bo Shelton is up, and Shelton sprays the first pitch back to the net foul. And Shelton's had herself a game. 2 for 2 with a walk. 2 runs have scored for her, and she has driven in a run. That was a big out there. Gregory has an RBI too, even though she's 0 for 4. That's the other thing too. You see this happen so much, you know, with players, Jim. Even if they don't have a great night offensively, they can still affect the game in a lot of ways. And even though Gregory was 0 for 4, still found a way to get on base and score. Part of the reason Pendleton Heights has scored almost 9 runs a game, and New Pal 10. And these 2 high-scoring teams continue to go at it. As a base hit by Shelton, her 3rd of the night. 2 against Holmen, 1 against Kotlowski. Runners move up. Bases juiced again for Caitlyn Goodwin.
First baseman, number 7, Caitlyn Goodwin.
This game, it's just like a prize fight, man. And, you know, with the old days of, you know, Frazier Ali and Foreman Ali and those guys are just battling back and forth. Punches, again, base runners on all night long for both teams. Neither team really able to break through.
And Goodwin is 2 for 3. She has also driven in a run.
You know, if either team honestly had good, timely hitting tonight, they'd have 14 runs.
Yeah.
You know, it's just both teams, when the bases are loaded, the pitchers seem to settle down a little bit. The defense seems to get better. But there's just been people on base all night long.
Which is going to be interesting to watch how that tests their mental fortitude in the postseason, because you're going to be in situations like this. Sectional, regional, and if you're lucky enough to get to state. They'll probably be in situations where the bases are loaded or runners on. And Holmen's been in this situation a lot this season and has taken care of business. That one line caught by Blum. She has a play at second for a moment, but not quite. It was just an amazing play by her to make that catch.
That's just ridiculous. That's just unbelievable. I'll tell you what, I always give stars for defensive plays. That's a double star right there. I backhanding this thing, totally lays out. Watch the replay here. No play for the third baseman. She's not even in the picture, all right, when the ball's hit. And she gets in there and just takes that off the carpet. Wow.
Nice play by Allie Blum. It is also her third putout of the night defensively. Brent Libler tries to keep the inning going, sends that one skyward and out of play.
Boy, if New Palestine does hold on to win this thing, and not that that thing was going to the wall and anything, wasn't going to score 3 runs, but what a play to get it out there.
You talk about that play, the home runs when you're only up by 1. That play to secure the lead, keep it in the infield. This one going foul again.
And like I said, if that ball hits the carpet, it probably stays in the infield, but everybody's safe. I mean, I think everybody goes up a bag, a run scores, and not only do you save the run, but you gain the out, and, you get a punch out here, 0-2. I think if you throw a nice off-speed pitch here, you probably screw the hitter in the ground.
That's exactly what happens. And Libler, an experienced hitter, senior, by the way, third baseman, stays away from it.
1 of 5 in the lineup again for Pendleton. This is their year, really, in the conference. I mean, Coach Davis has been building to this for like the last 3 years. We've been calling their games, and we've seen Libler and Brunnemer and all these people for 3 years.
That evens the count up. Libler singled in the second, got stranded on third. Flew out to left in the third, and then singled, got left on first in the fourth. And here she is in the sixth. 2 for 3 tonight. Slams that one foul. So she is 4 for 9 this week.
Good week of work.
Yep. The 2-2 offering. And again, she just continues to make life difficult for Holmen.
One of the things she's doing, John, she's employing, again, that little bit of a split grip. 2 strikes, a lot of kids with 2 strikes will kind of adjust their grip a little bit. Choke up just a little bit on the bat, but also leave just a little bit of a gap between her bottom hand and her top hand. And you do that for bat control. Now, all you're trying to do right here is slap something into a spot.
The 2-2 again. This one is in play to center. Oliver makes the catch, inning over for the 3rd time tonight. Pendleton Heights leaves the bases loaded. No runs and 2 hits to go along with it in that inning.
Top of the 6 with the Arabians, they score no runs, pick up 2 hits, and leave 3 on base.
And I think that's the benefit, Jim, also of bringing Alexa Holmen back in. And she is able to help close things out. And now you bring in Aglaya Rudd, Paige Ernstis, and Katie Hershey with a chance to get some insurance runs here in the bottom of the 6th if you are Pendleton Heights.
As you were wrapping that, you see the next broadcast here Saturday.
Yeah, so the New Palestine Dragons will play, like you and I were talking about earlier. They will end up having 5 games by the time this week is over. They'll play the Munster Mustangs and the Crown Point Bulldogs. You'll be able to watch that matchup, both of them, YouTube/9Star Films. Right here on the 9Star TV and the ISC Sports Network. Jim Leisure will be here with you to give you the play-by-play both times.
And I got to believe, John, that at some point in those ball games on Saturday, we're going to see some of the other pitching that Coach Markham has had. Again, Kotlotsky and Holmen carry the majority of the load, but he's also got a couple others in the sophomore. It looks like Studi or Study? Studi and Maddie Engel will also pitch a little bit too. So.
And those are non-conference games.
Yeah,
so.
And again, good opportunities to get some kids some innings. And
Shelby Messer stays out there and pitches for Pendleton Heights. She's been in the game since the first inning. There is that possibility that Eliza Finley could re-enter. And she's been in the bullpen warming up, but I think that might all depend on what happens here, and a lot of that was probably contingent on what Pendleton Heights could do in the 6th. Again, had opportunities, could not get a runner home. Now, New Palestine has certainly had their fair share of runners left on. They've left 7 on through 5, but they have not left anybody on in the 4th and 5th. Through the 3 innings, there were 14 combined runners left on between the two teams. That's been definitely more of an issue, though, for Pendleton. That one is staying in the park, but bounces down foul from Aglaya Rudd. Rudd tonight 1 for 3, a single, a run scored. She's also flown out to right twice. Then after her, you have Paige Ernstis, who's homered, and then Katie Hershey, who's also homered.
Yeah, I think for New Pal, that first inning, I know they got 5 runs, but they did leave the bases loaded, and I mean that was 1 base hit from really getting blown open.
That one heading over to right. That's been a popular place for her. 3rd time that Aglaya Rudd has flown out to right this evening. Paige Ernstis is next. She's 1 for 2. 2 runs have scored with her, and she has also driven in 1 as well. Sophomore third baseman's had a nice night. Look at the nice play there by Caroline DeRolf in right. Ernstis stays away from the first pitch. If this holds up, the losing pitcher would be New Palestine's Eliza Finley, and the winning pitcher would be Alexa Holmen. Still, though, a lot of softball to be played. Due up for Pendleton Heights in the 7th. Well, their 9-1-2 portion of the order, which is some teams you might say, well, you're starting off at the bottom of the order. That's problematic. Not for Pendleton Heights this year.
They've gotten a lot of production out of 7, 8, and 9. They really have. And, you know, again, when your 9-hole bat's 381, that's almost like having an extra leadoff hitter. So I'm sure they'll be very selective at the plate, try to get runners on. Of course, that assumes that if that New Pal doesn't tack on a few more here.
13 hits in this game, too, tonight for Pendleton Heights. And 10 for New Palestine.
13 hits in a ball game, you should win.
One thing that also hurt them, well, there's 2 errors they committed in that first inning, which allowed 2 of those runs to come across.
Yeah, errors, walks, a couple hit by pitches, I think. Just a bad combination. I don't care who you are.
A couple of base running issues as well, too.
Yes, you're right.
Runner gets doubled off at first. Runner gets thrown out at home when you had cut the lead to 1.
Yep.
3-1 offering. And there's a walk.
That's the old saying, John, every now and then I used to say, you know, we played just well enough to lose.
The designated player, number 18.
That's what you got to do, though. I mean, you got to identify all those things that we just talked about and eliminate them. You know, Coach Bob Knight used to say, you know, if you want to win, identify all the reasons why you lose and eliminate them. Is it because we don't rebound? Is it because we turn the ball over? It's because we can't shoot. Maybe we can't hit free throws.
Swing on the first pitch by Hershey. Right to the center fielder, though, Brunnemer.
In this case, we walk too many people. We give away free bases. We get picked off, doubled up on the base pass. We had 13 hits. You know, we should have won.
Yep.
We played just well enough to lose.
Again, that's another, that's just another Jim Leisure saying I've picked up on over the years.
Yeah, I don't know when I came up with that, but there were a couple ball games.
But my all-time favorite one by you is probably when we do football and a holding penalty gets called on an offensive lineman. You go, I'd rather you not block than get in the way and pick up a holding penalty.
Just don't block. Just get out of the way.
Just get out of the way.
And let our running back try to beat that kid.
All right. Runner left on there for New Palestine, but they lead by 3 as we head to the 7th on 9 Star TV and the ISC Sports Network.
At 9 Star Connect, we're a different kind of utility. We're a nonprofit cooperative owned by our members, the friends and neighbors we serve. We work for you. So we're committed to delivering dependable and affordable electricity to over 17,000 homes, schools, and businesses. And we know the best internet service is all about speed and reliability. We deliver both over our high-speed fiber optic network throughout East Central Indiana. At 9 Star Connect, we are a different kind of company, and the difference is you.
What rhymes with great?
Participate.
Where does greatness start? Here, in the classroom. On the diamond.
In the pool. On the field. Where will your greatness take you?
To better grades.
To more friends.
Yeah! Be great.
Participate.
Last chance in this one for the Pendleton Heights Arabians. They trail by 3. They've certainly had their opportunities. They have stranded 12 runners on base tonight, and they start with a 9-hole hitter to lead off the 7th, Sydney Clark. So in this 9 spot tonight, the starter was Lily Koffel as the designated player. Clark pinch hit in the 3rd, flew out to left. Then they went back to Koffel in the 5th. She grounded out to 2nd. And now we go back to Clark to lead off the top of the 7th. What do you think of this move, Jim?
Well, again, what Clark gives you that Koffel doesn't is a little bit of power. Koffel's just one of those slap hitters that just going to kind of try to lay the ball into a hole somewhere, just kind of slap it past the drawn-in infield or bunt it. You know, she can bunt it too. But Clark, she's looking to drive the ball somewhere into the gap or down the line.
0-1 offering. And that's a heck of a pitch by Holmen.
Just nasty. Great movement, great spot, good location, just almost unfair.
Umpire checks on the catcher, Aglaya Rudd, to make sure she's okay. And the 0-2 to Clark. That is 3 of the fastest pitches you're ever going to see.
Well,
good morning, good afternoon, good night.
Yeah.
Backwards K for Alexa Holmen.
And just it's that screwball motion, that pitch starts outside and just curves back at the last second. Good pitch, good call, and tough to take, but you know you can't blame Clark there. That's just a nasty pitch.
Back to the top of the order with Kaya Hubble. Now Hubble's been big tonight. 3 for 4. Make it 3 for 5 because Maddie Engel continues to have an outstanding night defensively in left field. Making the catch for the 2nd out. That is worth a second look for sure.
Well, again, a lot of it's just defensive placement. Left-handed hitter, you don't expect her to drive the ball over your head, so you pull the left fielder in a little bit. But, again, just a really nice job of catching the ball while moving. Maddie Engel, just a freshman.
5 putouts defensively for her tonight. Last chance now for Haley Brunnemer, and that goes foul. And Brunnemer tonight 0 for 3 with a walk, a run scored. If Brunnemer stays alive, we go to Caroline DeRolf, who leads the team in batting average. Pop up and ball game. Delaney Barton makes the catch to seal this one. A 1-2-3 inning ends up being the first one of the game for Pendleton Heights, and it seals the win for the New Palestine Dragons. Also, Pendleton Heights had won 6 games in a row. Their winning streak comes to a close, and they still have not beaten the New Palestine Dragons in 7 years. Both these teams now tied in the conference standings. New Pal 16-3-1, and now 3-2 in Hoosier Heritage Conference play. Pendleton Heights falls to 17-4. They are also now 3-2 in HHC play. Jim, your final thoughts on this one?
Again, John, just not the way I expected it. I thought it would be a close, good ball game. It ended up being a close, good ball game, but not well played necessarily. Lots of, errors in the field, miscues on the base paths, lots of missed opportunities. Both teams, I think Pendleton left 12 on base. New Palestine left 8. Not the way I think Ed would have liked it, Ed Markham, but I'm sure he'll take it. And if you're Coach Davis, you just got to go back, regroup, and try to get better.
All right, big thanks to our entire crew tonight. For my partner, Jim Leisure, our 9-star crew led by John Painter and Bill McKenna and all of our great camera guys out there. Great job to them. I'm John Herrick saying so long from New Palestine, where the New Palestine Dragons beat the Pendleton Heights Arabians 8-5. You've been watching high school softball on 9 Star TV and the ISC Sports Network.